This is a generational heist, as there has been a lot of discussion surrounding trades in the NBA, with the Miami Heat looking to find their new superstar player, and now new reports have shown that guy in a trade that changes everything for the Miami Heat and puts them right back at the top of the Eastern Conference contenders list. And we are going to discuss all of this, the implications behind it, when this can get done, and much more as well. Guys, right before we do that, if you're part of that percentage that's not subscribed, if you're part of that 79% that's not subscribed to Heat Digest, make sure to subscribe for daily Miami Heat updates that we are giving you all the time. You do not want to miss out on all the Heat updates, especially with the season coming up very, very quickly. Guys, make sure to have those post notifications on, and let's jump into the video, because as we know, Pat Riley is never going to stop looking for one of those franchise stars. That is no knock on Bam Adebayo, who absolutely is the franchise star of this team, and Tyler Hero, who is an all-star as well. However, we know Pat Riley wants that big name on that team, that guy who he is sure can lead the Miami Heat to the promised land. And guys, there has been discussions about multiple players in trade talks throughout all season and all off season long, whether it's been Giannis Antetokounmpo at points, LeBron James at points. There's been a lot of different names that have been brought up, and one of the names that's been brought up in trades over the past couple of seasons now has been Trey Young. Trey Young has found himself in a lot of trade talks, with a lot of people wondering if he can actually lead the Atlanta Hawks to some serious success. Now, the Hawks, they've done a lot to try to recapture that magic from 2021, but thus far, they've come up short. They didn't even make the playoffs last year, and in years prior, they were usually just a play-in team getting bounced in the first round, not making any noise since being in the Eastern Conference Finals just 4 years ago. Things have changed, and that Hawks team is a whole lot different now. Every single starter that was on that Hawks team outside of Trey Young is no longer even on the Hawks. That starting five is completely gone now, and so is their sixth man. I mean, Bogdan Bogdanovic is gone. Kevin Huerter is gone. John Collins. The only guy who was there up until last season was DeAndre Hunter, who's on the Cleveland Cavaliers now. That whole group is gone. Clint Capella is back in Houston. This is a new team for the Atlanta Hawks, and it feels all signs have been pointing to Trey Young being the next one to go, and now we have seen a huge trade report revolving around the Miami Heat and the Atlanta Hawks, where the Heat would be acquiring Trey Young in exchange for Andrew Wiggins, Norman Powell, and a first-round pick. And this is a deal that there are going to be some lingering effects of for the Heat, but it gives you a big three in Trey Young, Bam Adebayo, and Tyler Hero that can absolutely do some serious damage in an Eastern Conference that's been severely weakened this season by two different Achilles injuries. Now, when you look at what Sports Illustrated mentioned behind this trade, they said, while Young is an elite scorer, that doesn't necessarily translate into wins for the Hawks. He's not a strong defender and has been known to be a bit of a ball hog. The sharpshooting star could be a better fit somewhere with a stronger culture that could fit him into their system instead of allowing him to become the system. One of the best franchises with an elite established culture just so happens to be on the hunt for a superstar and has the pieces to get a player of Trey Young's caliber. The Miami Heat have been looking for a trade partner to add a star and move on from Andrew Wiggins. Wiggins is an outstanding role player who does everything well, but isn't the kind of superstar that can help carry a team to a title. Now, Wiggins has been an all-star starter before, but obviously not right now recently. And Sports Illustrated said about this deal, the Heat can get a legitimate superstar who can pour in points and help them get back to the NBA Finals. This isn't a team that is willing to settle for mediocrity. They have been one of the best-run organizations in the league for decades, and they are looking to make a deep run in a wide-open Eastern Conference this season. Pairing Young with Tyler Hero would make them extremely dangerous from behind the arc and allow them to light up the scoreboard when that duo gets hot. On top of that, you just look at Trey Young from last season. The man is a great, great player. He put up 24 points per game, 11 and a half assists because he's one of the best floor generals the league has. He only shot 34% from three, but he was really focused on compared to basically everyone else on that Hawks team that wasn't adding a bunch of scoring, especially after Jalen Johnson went down. The field goal percentage and three-point percentage were not great, but we saw that elite floor general talent, and with another great scorer, an all-star scorer in Tyler Hero, and also having Bam Adebayo for those pick and rolls and pick and pops to that elbow, it would create so much more offense and an actual system for Trey Young to be in, instead of let's let Trey Young figure it all out. It would be completely different, and that would be huge for the Miami Heat going forwards. Now, on top of this, we look at Trey Young, who's been in the playoffs and played 27 games there. He did have that one terrible run where he got literally swallowed whole. You want to guess by who? Obviously, that was the Miami Heat who did that, and when it came down to it, Trey Young, outside of that, has been a very solid playoff performer. Again, the field goal and three-point numbers have not been great, but he has been effective and helped his teams. I mean, he led the Hawks to an Eastern Conference Finals appearance, taking out the New York Knicks and then the Philadelphia 76ers in 2021 to go to 6 games with the Milwaukee Bucks. Who won the finals that year. On top of that, you then see the next 2 years, he didn't make it out of the first round, but he did play well against the Boston Celtics in that 6-game series. Everyone thought it would be the same thing as last year, where Trey Young just gets swallowed whole by the defense. That didn't happen. He put up 29 points per game, the most he's ever put up in a playoff run in his entire career. On top of that, averaged 10 assists as well, the first time he'd ever averaged double-digit assists in the playoffs. Now, he was forced to shoot the ball a lot, which happens time and time again for Trey Young when he gets to the playoffs, because teams just want to see him really work. The Heat did an excellent job at stopping that, because the Heat, again, they have an actual system in which Trey Young would be absolutely perfect for. Now, we look at the Heat's depth chart. It gets to move you get to move Tyler Hero back to the 2 in this case. And then also, you do have that issue of, all right, well, now we don't have Andrew Wiggins, Norman Powell, or Haywood Highsmith. Things get a little bit rocky here. For right then, you probably look to Jaime Jaquez Jr. to play that small forward role. And then you go out there in free agency and you look for wings, you look for forwards to bring into this team to help continue to make this contender, because then you have spots open, because you just did a 2-for-1 deal. So then you only will have 12 players on the roster because of it. So what you do is you add some more talent in the form of wings. You add a wing and a big. You look at Ben Simmons. He quickly becomes an option as well. So there's a few different options that can be taken. There's a few different paths that can be taken by this team. And now, obviously, the question is, why would the Hawks do this? Well, Sports Illustrated effectively said on that front, the Hawks would be adding two-way players who are better for their culture. Powell and Wiggins may not be the scorers that Trey Young is, but they can both be significant contributors on offense. Perhaps more importantly, along with their offensive output, they also show up on the defensive side of the ball. These are the kind of players Atlanta needs if they want a winning team, even if they don't necessarily sell tickets and jerseys like Trey Young does. Now, Wiggins, he put up 18 points per game last year, 4.5 assists, or 4.5 rebounds and 2.5 assists. He was still an excellent defender, getting nearly a block and getting a steal per game. He shot 42% on corner threes and 45% from the field. So you get a lot of good there, and you get Norman Powell, who just had the best season of his career, putting up 22 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. Very solid defender as well, getting 1.2 steals per game and just being a tough guy to get past. He's a very stout, smart defender. So you also get that on your side. It starts to work out really well. Now, you do have to wonder, are the Atlanta Hawks going to be willing to give up Trey Young for these two guys? Is that really a possibility? Or do they want to keep Trey Young? Who becomes the point guard in that situation? What do the Hawks do next? Well, you can continue to flip guys and figure out a way to add another top-tier point guard. And then you have one of the deepest teams in the East, and you have a few different directions that you can go in this scenario. On top of that, you see the Miami Heat, who are just set up perfectly now with Trey Young, and you do have to get some wings, but that is just then that's what you attack. You use some of your guard depth, and you go out there and you get some solid wings for this team, guys who can defend the ball and add some more talent, because you need, really more than anything, you need a small forward. You really need 2 as well. You need 2 to 3 wings, because you also don't have Highsmith anymore. So there becomes some questions there, but at the same time, you have the assets to continue making moves and make this into a championship contender once again. I would do this trade in a heartbeat. No even second thoughts. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Have a great day.